Hi, my name is Chris Conway, and I work in the Financial Education and Repayment Management team at the University of Phoenix. These are trying times, and financial uncertainties may be adding to your concerns. Money management is about the basics. It's knowing where your money is going, where it needs to go, and spending less than you earn. And when we're facing financial challenges, the most important thing to do is get back to the basics. I'll share some tips and resources that can apply to all of us, and then a bit more information for those with reduced income. Because the effects of this pandemic are so widespread, relief is being offered to many of those impacted. And that's where we'll start here with the CARES Act. The CARES Act was passed on March 27th, and this act includes an economic impact payment that many people will receive by April 17th. The IRS will determine your payment amount using your 2019 or 2018 tax return. If the IRS has your bank account information, you should receive the money via direct deposit by April 17th. If not, a paper check may be issued and delivered through the mail. Also, if you haven't recently filed taxes in 2018 or 19, you may need to file a simple tax return. You can find more information about that as it's available on the IRS Coronavirus Information page. And that is on this next slide. Then, another part of the Act is that payments on federally held student loans are suspended through September 30th, 2020. For these loans, you don't need to contact the loan servicer. It will be automatically applied. Interest will not be accruing during this time. So if you're able to make payments, you can continue to do so, and the amount that you pay will be applied to your principal balance. Please note that this suspension of payments does not apply to private loans or loans not held by the federal government. If you're unclear about your loans, contact your servicer to learn more. Now, let's look at some money management basics with some tweaks that can be made as we go through this pandemic. First, if you don't have a budget, now is really the time to create one. A budget is your spending plan that shows where your money will go. It can be as simple as having it on a piece of paper, it could be on a spreadsheet, or you can use an app, as long as you are telling your money where it needs to go. This helps you track that. In good times, you can work toward a zero-based budget where you apply every dollar to a stated purpose. A simple budgeting method to use would be the 50-30-20 plan. And using your after-tax income, under this plan, 50% of their income would go to needs, like things like food and rent and transportation. 30% would go to wants, and then 20% would go to savings. So it could be having that emergency fund or investments for the future. Then you need to know how your money is being spent throughout the month to know what you have left. You can do this by tracking your spending. Again, you can do this in a simple old-fashioned way of writing all your expenses down on a piece of paper, or you can use an app from your bank or another source. Apps make it easy to track where you are, but reviewing and writing it down really keeps you in touch with the money and how you're spending it. So that could be an important way to do this. During this period, it would also be smart to set up a weekly or a bi-weekly household review so that you can make changes as soon as they're needed. Then look at ways that you can lower other expenses that you have. We need to eat, but can you use more coupons or can you plan meals to get the most out of the food that you do buy? Do a search online for coupon sites or meal planning sites, and you'll likely find some that will work for you. With more time spent social distancing, we've probably learned a lot of new ways to have fun that don't require going out and spending money. Going out for a walk costs nothing. Cards and board games might be in your basement already. And talking to friends and family by phone or video can be a good, cheap way to pass the time and stay in touch with people. Next, if you have bills that can't be fully paid, contact your creditors and the banks. Again, since the effects of this pandemic are so widespread, many creditors are making exceptions to help customers through these times. Some will allow partial payments, some are lowering interest rates or waiving fees, and some are even deferring payment. I've heard of some banks that are postponing car and mortgage payments as well as credit cards. So don't assume that your debt will not be eligible. You do need to tell them if you in need of some help because they won't know otherwise. Some people are working and doing okay, and others need some help. One exception to this is, as I pointed out earlier, the federally held student loans. You don't need to contact the servicer for that, and you'll find your account status online for those. Then building an emergency fund. A general rule of thumb is to try to maintain savings to cover 6 months of expenses that you can draw on in an emergency like this. Many people aren't able to save that much, but any amount that you have in savings can be really helpful at a time like this. If you're able to, look for any opportunity to build that emergency fund for now or for the future. And lastly, if you're able to do so, if you are working and things have stayed pretty steady, consider giving money and time to help those in need. There are local and national organizations and funds that are being created to help people get through these times. And it feels good to help and to know that help is available if you need it. Now we'll talk a bit about the loss of or having reduced income. If you've lost your job, you may be eligible for unemployment benefits and should start that process right away. The CARES Act passed on March 27th provided additional benefits for the unemployed. Your state determines the weekly amount that you would receive, and that's based primarily on your earnings and how long you've worked. The Act allows for an extra $600 a week, and that would end July 31st. Most states allow for 26 weeks of unemployment payment, and the CARES Act extends that by up to 13 weeks. Another change applies to people not usually eligible for these benefits who might now be eligible, and that includes self-employed, gig workers, independent contractors, and part-time workers. Each of these should look into applying for unemployment benefits. Check with your state unemployment office to learn what you may be eligible for and if you can apply right now. Now is the time to create an emergency stripped down budget, really just for the needs. So we mentioned the 50-30-20 plan. So what is that 50% for what you really truly need? Have that in your budget. What are the absolute must-haves? Again, it'll be food and housing, utilities, transportation. Look at the budget that you have and the spending that you're doing to find any non-essentials that you can eliminate or reduce. Can you lower your car insurance payment if you aren't driving to work each day? Do you have some savings because daycare is no longer needed or open? Can you cancel gym membership? And what subscriptions do you have that you can cancel? Every little bit will really help at this point and will make sure that your money is going to those true necessities. And next, if you have less money coming in, get creative about things that you can do to earn some money. What skills can you monetize, or what items do you have around that you can sell? What paid work can you be doing now? If you're currently unemployed, can you pick up something full-time or part-time with a business seeing increased demand? It might not be the job that you want long-term, but it will help you get through for now. Then if you need help, consider social services or community resources that can help with finding options for aid. On here I've listed unitedways211.org, which is one tool that allows you to find resources, including food, housing, and utility assistance in your community. And then iGrad Coronavirus Hub, you can find that on your account if you're a student at University of Phoenix, and we'll have the link added to the PowerPoint here for you if you wanted to grab those. Here you go. There's some IRS information, iGrad, and United Way. These are resources available, and they're there for you to use, so it's okay to ask for help.